Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. We've got some super interesting stuff to dig into today, all about AI design. It's kind of like figuring out how to make really awesome and helpful things using AI.
Yeah, and we'll be looking at some listener questions about what makes AI design different. Like, do the things we build with AI actually think on their own?
Right. And how does all this AI stuff change what we might want to do for work or just in our lives in the future?
Definitely big questions.
Definitely. So to help us wrap our heads around it all, we thought we'd start by looking at some of the cool stories and examples people sent in.
Sounds good.
So the first thing that really caught my eye was this story about a hat maker.
Oh, yeah, the hat maker. I remember that one.
They could make these unbelievable hats.
Right, like out of just one ribbon.
Yeah. And like shaping and weaving it into all these crazy designs.
It's a good example of how design can be really creative, like using your skills to make something totally unique.
Yeah, it almost sounded magical. But then the material went on to talk about this robot inventor. And that's where things got really interesting for me.
Oh, yeah.
This woman built a robot so smart and so real,
Uh-huh.
people thought it could actually like think for itself.
It really makes you wonder how far AI can go in design. It's like not just making something that works or looks nice, it's about making something that can create.
Right.
Huh.
So it's like way more than just robots putting cars together in factories.
Mm.
We're talking about robots that could design the cars, write the computer programs for them, and even come up with the jingles you hear on the radio.
Exactly. And that leads to that question, can things we create with AI have minds of their own? We'll talk more about that, but AI design is about making things that can learn and change and even surprise us with what they can do.
Hmm. It reminds me of another story about this little kid and his ball. He would play with it for hours, making up games and treating it like a friend.
Oh, that's
You
sweet.
know? But it made me think like, did the ball have a mind of its own because it helped the kid be so creative?
That's a great point. It's like even simple things can become more than just what they are when a person uses their imagination with them. That kind of reminds me of another story in the material about music and how powerful it is. It talked about how music can make you feel so many things and even inspire you, like it's alive somehow, even more than whoever wrote it.
Music definitely does something to you. Like a good song can make you happy or sad or even give you chills. But does that mean music is actually like smart the way we think about it? Does it have a mind like us?
That's where things get kind of crazy. Even if AI doesn't think the way people do, it can still do stuff that seems smart or even creative. Scientists have a word for this. It's called emergence. Like when simple rules or systems end up making something complex happen.
Emergence. Okay, I need an example to get that one.
Sure. Think about like a flock of birds. Like each bird is just following some basic rules. Stay close to the other birds, don't bump into anything, and kind of go in the same direction as everyone else. But when you have tons of birds flying together, all those simple rules make these incredible patterns in the sky.
Oh, I see. So even though each bird is just doing its own thing, the whole flock looks like it's got some plan or purpose, even though there's no like leader bird telling everyone what to do.
That's the idea. And it's kind of like how some AI works. Even if we program them with simple stuff, they can like interact with each other in their environment in ways that we didn't totally expect.
Hmm. That makes me think of that story about the mirror. We use mirrors to see ourselves, but the story asks, what if the mirror could see us too? What would it think about what it saw?
Huh. It's a fun way to think about perspective and like how we see things. If AI can watch us and learn from us, it makes you wonder if maybe they could end up seeing the world in their own way.
I'm starting to see a connection between some of these stories. Like there was that one about a gift box. You know how excited you get when you see a present even before you open it?
Yeah, totally. The source material was talking about how it's the mystery of what could be in the box that gets you so hyped.
And that's like AI too, right? The potential of what it could create in the future is just as crazy as what it can do already.
You got it. And then there was that story about the key and the door. Like they're perfect for each other. The key goes out all day and the door's waiting to be unlocked. It made me think if we could see AI and humans as being connected like that too. We both have a part to play in making the future.
That's a cool way to look at it. Like we're both parts of this bigger system, and even though we're different, we need each other.
Totally. And that brings us to something called anthropomorphism. Basically, it's when we act like things that aren't human are human, like animals, or in this case, AI.
So like when we say a robot is thinking or learning, even though it might be working in a totally different way than our brains.
Exactly. It's just natural for us to want to understand new things by comparing them to ourselves,
No.
especially when we're talking about something as powerful as AI. It makes sense that we'd try to understand it by thinking about it like it's human.
So we've talked about AI designing stuff and maybe even like thinking in its own way. But what does that mean for us humans? This material had a whole section about AI changing how we work and live in the future.
Yeah. Especially since you'll be starting your careers when AI is going to be even bigger than it is now.
It's kind of scary to think about, honestly. Like, what if robots just take all the jobs?
It makes sense to worry about that. But the material said it's not really about AI replacing people, it's more about figuring out how to work with it,
Okay.
like a partnership, where AI can help us do even more than we could on our own.
I like that idea. So instead of freaking out about AI taking our jobs, maybe we should be thinking about how AI could help us do our jobs even better.
Exactly. It's all about looking at the good stuff. Instead of seeing AI as this big, scary thing, we can see it as a tool that helps us get rid of boring work and lets us focus on the things only people can do well, like being creative, thinking critically, and caring about others.
The material had some really cool examples of how AI could work in different jobs. Like, imagine being a lawyer who can use AI to go through thousands of documents super fast, so they have more time to figure out their case and fight for justice.
Totally. Or a doctor who uses AI to check medical images, and the AI could spot things a human might miss. That could mean catching health problems early and helping people get better faster.
That's wild.
Mm.
What about creative jobs, though, like writing or art? Wouldn't AI just take over those too?
Not necessarily. Think about it. A writer could use AI to help come up with story ideas or get past writer's block. Or AI could translate their book into a bunch of languages so people all over the world could read it.
So AI could actually help writers be more creative.
That's right. And for artists, AI could open up whole new ways to make art. Imagine teaming up with an AI to make a painting. You'd have your ideas, and the AI could add all these cool patterns and textures.
Whoa, that's crazy. It seems like there are so many possibilities when we think of AI as a partner instead of something that's going to steal our jobs.
Definitely. The source material even had this cool strategy for dealing with all this. They called it thinking the opposite way. Instead of worrying about what AI might take away, think about what it could add to your life and your work. Like ask yourself, how could AI help me reach my goals or try new things I couldn't do before?
I love that. It's like turning a problem into something exciting.
Right.
So like someone who loves teaching could ask, how can AI help me make learning fun and different for each of my students?
Exactly. Or someone who wants to be a musician could use AI to help them write music, create new sounds, or even play a show with a virtual band.
It's really cool to think about all the ways AI could help us make our dreams come true and do good stuff in the world.
And remember, you don't have to be a computer whiz to be part of this AI thing. It starts with being curious, learning about AI, and thinking about what it could do, both good and bad.
So to wrap it all up, AI design isn't just about building fancy robots. It's about making the future and figuring out how humans and AI can work together to make a world where everyone can do great things.
And that future is yours to make. By being curious and working together, you can help make sure AI is a good thing in the world.
That's it for our deep dive into AI design. Thanks for listening.